Okay, so last night I was mad. I shouldn't have been. I talked to two of my kids. I talked to one of my friends who never thought I'd talk to again. Hey, JB, I am so proud of you for getting clean. However, you had to do it. Should have known, man. I gave up the cigarettes. I did make a deal with the universe. You see, my second conversation with my youngest son last night informed me of some stuff. There's a mom across the street telling her kids to get back in the yard because they were supposed to stay in the yard, and they weren't in the yard. She's a mom. She's telling them what to do. They're her kids. Now, see, I told you guys 9 years ago, my ex. And actually, he's not even my ex, because when we were together, I classified our relationship as whatever. Now I'm gonna go for a little walk around my little loop while I talk to you guys. Maybe if I don't keep losing my shit. Because I'm losing my shit all day today. I've been dropping stuff. It's the universe telling me I'm dropping the ball. Dropping stuff. Oh, look at that beautiful sunshine. Now, here's the deal. 9 years ago, Mason, my youngest son's father, took my son from me without discussing anything, without having a conversation, without trying to talk to me about what had happened. Why did Christopher get whipped? Throw that stone. He never asked me. Now, I did text him and say, the day that it happened, I texted him and I said, our son just got his first spanking ever. He was 5, almost 6 at the time. And he got his first spanking ever. Because I was all about time out, go in the corner, sit down, let me take your toys away. No TV time. That was my typical punishment. And I had everybody going, that boy needs his ass whooped. And I kept saying, no, I don't want to touch my child. I don't want to touch any child like that. Why? Well, because I'm afraid of what I'm capable of. I'm afraid of myself. I know my temper. I know my anger. I know just how fast I can lose it. I don't want to touch my kids. I don't want to whip my kids. I don't want to smack my kids. I don't want to hit my kids. I don't want to. But you know what everybody around me kept saying? That kid needs an ass whooping. And not just about my youngest. And you know why they said it? Well, because he loves his mommy and he always wanted to be with me. He was 5. You know, the little boy I babysit for up until yesterday, every time he woke up and his mommy wasn't home and it was me there, he'd start crying for his mommy. Why? Well, because that kid's going through some traumatic stuff. And right now, every time his mommy leaves, he's afraid she's never going to come back. That's what I tell him. Mommy will be home later. I'm talking to her right now. She's at work. That's what I tell him. That's what I tell that child. Mommy will be back. And I see, my 14-year-old has never wanted to live with his father. Not even at 5. He likes visiting. He never wanted to live with him. Why? Because he doesn't like his now ex-stepmom. He doesn't like the way she treats him differently. He doesn't like the way that she's mean to him. Now, see, these are the stories I've heard for 9 years, and they're always consistent. Mom, she's mean to me. Mommy, she's mean to me. Mommy, she treats me differently than she does her kids. Mommy, I'm not happy. And the fucked up thing is I wasn't able, because by the court's rules, I needed to see a psychiatrist, so I need to get my mental health under order. I needed to have money. Well, okay, but the doctors tell me I can't work, and Social Security is taking its nice sweet time. It really needs to get on the ball, like by the 1st of September. I would like my money, please. No. I demand my money, please. I earned it. It is my right. You set up the program. Follow through with your rules. Stop fucking around, government. Now, see, I'm mad at the government still. But see, you see how calm I'm talking to you about what's going on with my son? This is the difference between anger and fury. I am furious over this situation. Because, see, last night I told my son when he was on video chat with me and his dad walked in his room, I said, tell your dad he needs to call me when he's away from everybody so we can talk. Because I was trying to find out the adult side of the situation. Well, I already know his stepmom's going to lie to me. Okay, her oldest daughter had so many mental health issues, she was in and out of the hospital, but they want to hold this shit on me? Like what, man? Okay? 2, her youngest daughter, by the same man, she's the reason he and Christopher moved out. Because she was sneaking out. She was going out and meeting people. She was running away. She, at the same age, because she's only 2 months older than my son. Her birthday's in September. My son's is in October. Oh, let me correct that. They are only a month and 9 days apart because he had 3 children. 3 from the end of May to October. The man did, not the woman, because a woman can only have 1 pregnancy really in 1 year. But technically 2 because I have Irish twins. Mine are 10.5 months apart. My oldest 2. Right now, till tomorrow, they're both 22. Tomorrow, my oldest turns 23. Yeah, but my baby's only 14. Yeah. I talked to my Marine yesterday. I was so happy to talk to him. It was only for a couple minutes because he's in the middle of doing this training thing and he's got to get all this stuff done. But I texted him, I said, okay, so let me stop being nice. You need to call your mother next time you have 10 minutes to talk. Guess what he did? He called his mommy. We talked for about 10 minutes. That was all I asked for. I just wanted to hear his voice. I missed him. I still miss him. Obviously. Now, here's the thing. I video chat with my youngest. We text message. We call each other regularly. And it's only because I can't make it. I'm in Michigan and he's in Kentucky. Well, he's on the Ohio-Kentucky border. So he's about 600 miles from me right now. I don't drive. His dad does. And see, in the legal matter, when they gave him custody, they gave him some power. They didn't set rights. They said he has the ability to tell me when I can and cannot see my son if he feels that I'm being unsafe. But see, I've spent the last 9 years getting my life straight. Trying to. I've done everything I was supposed to. I worked till I couldn't anymore, so I was crawling in the door at night from a 4-hour shift. And the doubles were even worse. That I was having anxiety attacks at the idea of going into work. That even now, one day I'll be like, I want to go back to work so bad. And the next day, there's no way in hell I could work. Because the next day, I'm sick. Or I hurt so bad that I can barely get out of bed. And I don't barely get out of bed. my old home, and even here, the bathroom is mere steps from the bed, under 10. And there's days that those 10 steps have me in tears. And I have such a high pain tolerance. Remember, guys? I walked into the hospital all 3 times. And the only reason why my second one hurt me as bad as it did was because he was breech. He was upside down. He had a foot in the birth canal. She felt his foot. She said, oh. She said, oh. When she broke my water at 32 weeks because she wasn't gentle. She drank, I mean, seriously. She jammed her fingers up in me to check me. She broke my water. And it didn't matter, it was an active labor. I was dilated to 10. He was coming. But the way how ungentle that nurse was that night, there was a reason why I ended up snapping at her. When she told me when I was getting an epidural, so I'm getting a needle a spinal. Let me correct that one. Spinal. Not an epidural. Epidural, you still have some feeling. A spinal, you are numb from your underarms down. You can barely move your arms because, I mean, it goes into your arms. You're not supposed to move for hours even after. It was like 6 hours after. No, I was allowed to move around 3 a.m. in the morning, so it was 4 hours. 4 hours after they took him out of me, I still wasn't allowed to move. Because it could give me a headache and it could cause damage. Oh, it gave me a headache. Now, I was a 17-year-old child when I had my middle son. I had just had a baby 10 and a half months before him. The doctor walks in and said, oh, great, baby's having babies. He asked me how many times I went to the last doctor's office I went to. Not about my prenatal care altogether, just how many times have you went to this one office? Well, I just moved back to the area, so I just changed doctors. I've only been there twice. But I had a doc, and he turned around and walked out the fucking room. Walked out the room, running his mouth. Dr. Carr. Dr. Philip Carr from Hamilton, Ohio. He used to be the on-call doctor at Fort Hamilton, where my sons were born. Because it was interesting is that was with my middle son. Now with my youngest son, same doctor. The anesthesiologist and the pediatrician were ready to deliver. They were there. He walks in the room with Christopher when I'm delivering him. He walked in the room, thought he had the wrong fucking room because there was somebody else already in between my legs ready to deliver a baby. He had to turn around and come back in and take over. And then I about kicked him in his face when he told me he didn't have to have the female genitalia to know how bad it hurts to have a baby. Hey, any women out there? You think a man honestly knows how bad it hurts to have a baby, to push one out with no drugs? Nothing. No epidural. No local for when they did what's it called, episiotomy or whatever. No, and I didn't even have one. They let me rip. Luckily, he was little. He only weighed 4 pounds, 4 ounces, 17 and a half inches long. At 8 weeks premature. And I was in my 20s. There's a big age gap between my youngest and my 2 oldest. Like a 7-8 year age gap. This morning, I slept on it. Thought about it. That's what they tell you to do, right? Don't say nothing until you sleep on it. I slept on it. Guys, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I found out last night at like 9 o'clock at night. Now, see, a good parent would do anything to help the other parent still be and co-parent. And I've tried co-parenting with this person. I tried co-parenting with all of my kids' dads. But see, he thinks he has some power. He thinks he has some hold over top of me. Because he gets to say when my son and I see each other. And guess what? all you're doing is making him hate you because he sees me trying. He sees me. All of me. My good, my bad, my in-betweens. Because my kids have watched. My kids have watched me. Always. You see, my son told me last night when Mom was having an anxiety attack that night that you messaged me. And I said, oh, you mean the night that I said, is your faith shaky? He's 500-600 miles away from me. And I had that gut feeling, something ain't right with my baby. Something ain't right. So I messaged him and I said, hey baby, is your faith shaky? He said, always. I said, Mommy's got a secret. I said, hey baby. I said, close your eyes. He said, you got headphones on? He said, yeah. I said, you listen to music? He said, yeah. I said, okay. Close your eyes. And at the same time I told him to close his eyes, I closed my eyes and I focused strictly on him, just on my baby. After a couple minutes, I got a message back that said, fricker frack. What the fricker frack? Because see, when you're connected with somebody, they can be across the world and you can feel it. And I felt my baby. I've been feeling him. I know it's my baby. I don't have to question, why am I feeling this way? Certain pains hit my heart. I know exactly who it is, don't I, JB? And I'm 500 miles away, 400 miles away. And he knows because he heard about how I, from up here, started messaging everybody down there. And what I found out last night was the night that I was messaging everybody, thank you, Lauren, for lying to me and telling me he didn't want to talk to me, by the way. You could have just told me he was in jail. He was going through withdrawals. He was getting clean. The thing was, he was so far gone and so far sick that he's pretty sure he died a couple of times. And I said, I'm pretty sure you died a couple of times too. Because I'm pretty sure you were here with me. And I kept sending you back. So I'm pretty sure that the same night that I was messaging his father, his best friend, one of my best friends, and asking them all to go check on him. Somebody go check on him. By morning, it's going to be too late. He was in jail, withdrawing, dying. But he made it through. He made it through. And you know what's fucked up? That was the same time that I bought that last pack of cigarettes. I mean, I know, you sit here and watch me play with these things. I bite on them. It goes out, and I'm still playing with it. Why? Because I don't actually smoke these. I play with them. They're a way to help me to not smoke. It's the whole action and reaction. The action of putting it to my mouth. The action of putting a lighter to it. Pulling it in. But I don't inhale. Occasionally, occasionally. Because for 30-some years, I've been smoking cigarettes. So, it's a habit. It's an automatic reaction that when you inhale. Hey guys, guess what? It's not lit. I see, I'm furious. Because when I messaged my son's dad this morning, he responded with, she had every right to smack him. He's a liar. He's lucky. He said to me that our son is lucky that his father didn't smack him. He is 14. He's a child. He's learning. But what he's learning, he's not learning the best of. Because see, what happened was, I know what happened. His stepmom got loud Because they've even said, wait, why are you now responding? You're the one kid who never responds. So they've taken advantage of the fact that my kid will keep his mouth shut and keep his head down. And they have treated him like shit. And now he's getting old enough, now that puberty's kicking in, now that he wants to go and figure out who he actually is, and he's trying to have good friends. He's trying. He's 14. They are getting in his face because they don't like who he's becoming. Oh, a lot like everybody didn't like who I was becoming when I started taking my Roller. When my focus came into play. When I was able to actually sit down and think about everything and realize that everything had been so fucked for so long. Hey, it's happening with my son too. He's got focus coming in. And he's starting to realize just how screwed up, not just the world, but especially his home life. So about 2 years ago or so, a year and a half ago or so, no, I'm going to say it's about 2 years now, his father and his stepmother decided to separate. Now his father's family owned that home. And instead of his father telling his stepmother to get her and the daughter out of there, since they were the troublemakers, they were the instigators, they were the problem makers. The daughter who called CPS and lied on her father and said that he hit her. Well, I don't know if it's a fucking lie anymore. Maybe she was telling the truth. Maybe that's why she's acting out the way she fucking acts out. Well, probably. Part of it is that her mother and her father both have let her get away with murder. But if my son steps out of line, even one little iota, he gets smacked. So wait, it's okay for you guys to be abusive to him over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's okay for you to shove him away. It's okay for you to tell him he's not allowed to see his mother, talk to his mother, because you decided when I wasn't even doing anything wrong. I wasn't on drugs. I was working. I was trying to pay my child support. I was trying to pay off all my shit. I was trying to get all my shit straight, and he used some of my shit to hold my son away from me for a year. And it wasn't because of anything I did to my son or anything I did to him. He found out that I had a bench warrant on a fine, and he decided to hold that shit against me. Well, I got it taken care of. I got all of it taken care of. There's one last thing I need to take care of to get my license back, and that's something that happened 20 years ago that was already supposed to have been paid. I gave somebody else the money to pay it because they had a credit card and I didn't when I was 19. Yeah, come on now. I mean, 19-year-olds, back in the early 2000s were able to get a goddamn credit card. So I trusted somebody else, and now I've been entrusting my son to his father because, the courts even said, no, he looked better on paper. Okay, but see, just like me, he's a recovering addict. And right now, I don't even know if he's in recovery because I know he's been drinking a lot. I know that on the weekends, he goes and plays darts, but that's his only time to be spending with our son. I know that for the last 5 years, 6 years, since I took care of that warrant that he kept my son away from me on, that the court order states that I pick him up on Fridays and his father picks him back up from me on Sundays, and I've been responsible for doing both trips. But then he wants to yell that I don't have the money to pay for my child support. Well, but I'm spending that money that's supposed to go to my child support on the return trip that you're supposed to be doing. Sorry. Our son having time with his mother and his siblings and his grandmothers, even me and her fighting. Me and her are fighting, but she's still been good to the kids. I don't hold those kids away from her. I do limit, but I don't hold. My mother's not exactly a nice person all the time, and she doesn't exactly teach the best things, but she's still their grandmother. And she has been good to them kids. She put a roof over their heads. She bought them stuff. She fed them. She made sure they got into schools. Well, we, as a team, her, my stepfather, and me, as a team, went and put my oldest two in a better school for them. We tried homeschooling with my oldest. He wanted to play games on the computer and not do his schoolwork. He had to go back into public school. But he didn't. He went into a private school that was meant for kids who had issues like he does. And not bad kids, not like that kind of issues, learning disability issues. And technically my oldest didn't absolutely need it, but he was qualified for it due to his mental health disorders. And his brother was going there, and his brother did need it. It changed his brother's life completely for absolutely the best. Love Summit Academy. Anybody who has a student that goes to Summit Academy, you understand, don't you? They are great. That therapeutic karate turned my troubled child, my middle one, he was troubled, man. That therapeutic karate turned him into a black belt sensei for therapeutic karate. My bad, taekwondo, not karate, taekwondo. There's a difference. His championships, it's all on my Facebook. I went to his things. I was there. I've drove hours to be there for my youngest one. Yeah, I know my kids' names are slipping, but it's okay because if you go to my Facebook, they're already public anyway. And I ain't ashamed of my children. The only one I'm protecting is my Marine, and that's because I don't want to say something to piss somebody off and then them going to try to take it out on him. And you never know what the future holds. You never know where I'm going to be at in the future, and you never know where he's going to be at in the future, and we got to protect each other. So my Michael, I love you. Your mother is furious. You can see it. You can tell. I'm not happy. I'm not. Because I was told that the rules were only the father and I were allowed to touch our child. If any disciplinary action needed to come down, it came down from his father or me. Last time I checked, his stepmother was not there the night he was created in our room, because I was living with his dad. He was not there. She was not there. He was. Me and him were. She didn't carry that baby in her stomach for 8 months. She wasn't there at Fort Hamilton Hospital that day when I pushed him out. Oh, but neither was his father, because when I called his father and said, hey, I'm heading to the hospital, his father told me he had other things he needed to do first, and then he come up. Now, see, when I told you that a week beforehand that they almost took him by emergency C-section, it was his father's birthday. Guess how his father and grandmother showed up at the hospital? Guess what they were doing in the bathroom while I'm laying in a bed getting ready to have an emergency C-section? Cocaine. Both of them. He was mad he had to cut his birthday party short because his son might be coming. Yeah, I said it. Well, I was laying in a hospital bed. I hadn't been able to get out of that hospital bed except for use the bathroom or take a shower. And even then, I had to sit down because I'd been on bed rest before I ever made it to that hospital. The whole reason we went to the hospital in the first place was because I tripped over the last 2 steps coming down into the basement where his room was from being upstairs taking a shower. I stumbled down the last 2 steps and I jerked myself wrong and I didn't feel right. And after about an hour or so, I said, I don't feel right. I need to go to the hospital. And I did. And the next thing I know, they're shipping me from Maysville's hospital. I call it Murder View. Everybody calls it Murder View. It's Meadow View, but we all call it Murder View because, well, I'm just saying. Now, they've gotten better over the years. I think they got bought out by somebody, and they have definitely picked up their care. I was there 6 years ago. They got me set straight. They got me on the Buterol, and they gave me a breathing treatment. They sent me home on antibiotics. And I didn't even have insurance. Yeah, but everybody calls it Murder View. Everybody still goes there. There's another hospital about 15 miles further that if you have the option, that's the one I would have always went to. That's the one that I always drove to if I had the option. I mean, if like they weren't bleeding to death, if it wasn't an absolute emergency. Once I found out about Fleming County Hospital, I started going to Fleming County Hospital. They had better care, better treatment. They were smaller. They were like a country hospital, but they always treated us good. It's where Cameron got his glue. He busted his head open, he got it glue. It's where we took him the year before that when he had a bike accident and had road rash and messed his teeth up. It's been a good hospital. It's where I went, and after the dentist prescribed me the wrong medication because I told him I was allergic to Ultram and Ultracet, and they prescribed it to me after they pulled a tooth, and then I started having chest pains because it makes me feel like I'm having a heart attack. It affects my heart. And so the hospital then switched my medication out and put me on something for a pulled tooth that I could actually take. They were a good hospital. They are a good hospital. They still are a good hospital. Meadowview's gotten better. But Meadowview didn't have the capability of doing what's called a VSAC. And they don't have... Oh, ow, my booty. They don't have a NIC unit on site. Or they didn't back then. I don't know if they do now or not. They might now because they've upgraded. But back in 2007, they didn't have one. So what they did was they were going to send me to Kentucky. They were going to send me down to Lexington. I didn't know anybody in Lexington. I didn't have anybody in Lexington. And if I went to Lexington, it's going to be long distance to call. And so Lexington's an hour away from where we lived at. And so is Cincinnati. It's like smack dab. You go this way, you go to Lexington. You go this way, you go to Cincinnati. I said, is there any way you can send me to Cincinnati? Because at least from Cincinnati, I could use the hospital line. Because my cell phone didn't have minutes. Remember, I was on bed rest, so I couldn't go earn any money, so I didn't have minutes on my cell phone. But it had all my numbers in it, so I took it. But I could call my aunt. I could call my brothers. I could call people back in Hamilton from Cincinnati because it wasn't long distance. Just, can you send me to Cincinnati? They sent me to UC, University of Cincinnati Hospital. It's a teaching hospital. Kind of creepy to walk around that hospital, honestly. That is also where my recent ex spent Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He got released on Wednesday, but they sent him there by care flight from a hospital up in Middletown when he had meningitis, and he almost died. And the only reason he didn't die was because I was there. And I know that something was wrong. He wasn't responding. So I called 911. And I got an ambulance there to take him to the hospital. And I had him take him to Atrium. Putting it out. Because I don't just throw them down. I throw them away. See, I keep trying to change. I keep trying to become better. I keep trying. 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 And see, last night I had a preacher tell me that I need to go ahead and sacrifice myself some more. Excuse me? Sir, you might want to learn who you're talking to before you tell me to go sacrifice myself. And I don't need to go to an orphanage, sir. I know plenty of foster kids. Those kids need a mama too. And I've been a mama to a bunch of foster kids. I've been a mama to children who were not mine. Ain't that right, baby girls? My twin flames. You two know who I'm talking to. Hey, can you give Little Ginger, snap a hug for me, baby. Please. Give him some love from his grandma. She's not mine biologically. She calls me mama. She asks me for advice when she needs it. She calls me when her and her son have milestones. When things are going great and when things are going bad, she calls me to ask me for money. And if I have it, I give it to her. And if I don't have it, I tell her, I'm sorry, baby, I don't have it. And you know what she says? I understand. Thank you for even trying, mama. Because, money makes the world go round. See, right now, that is my only hold-up when it comes to going after my custody of my son again. Money. It's not my mentality. It's not my heart. It's not that I don't have time. I have nothing but time. I have energy for him. He's 14. He doesn't take that much energy anymore. Bobby, you want to go for a walk? I've showed you some pretty sights, haven't I? What it comes down to is money. Money makes the world go round. Money. Everything costs money because everybody's greedy. I ain't greedy. I only want my money so I can actually survive. I have things I gotta pay. I have bills. Doctors say no, don't work. And if I go against medical advice, well, then Social Security says, well, you're working. I think my battery's dead. I don't know. I think I need a new battery for this thing. I can taste it. I can feel it coming in but I don't exhale anything, and I can't be absorbing that much of it, not with how long I'm holding the button. I've adjusted this egg so many times. I've loosened it, I've tightened it, I've tried, and nothing. And I got this to help me not smoke the flower. I'm gonna have to buy a new battery this week because the one that was given to me isn't working, and I know that this is a good pod. I can feel the airflow coming through it, but I'm guessing the battery itself is just burned up. Because I charged this, it's charged. If I hit the button, it'll glow green. I can feel the air. What I'm furious about, though, is that my son's dad had the nerve to tell me that that woman has done more for our son in the last 9 years. I'm going to lay you guys down for a second. It came apart. Sorry. It came apart. Beautiful sky, though. He had the nerve. Okay, well, one, I never asked you to take my son away from me. Actually, I begged you not to. I fought in court knowing it was a losing battle because, well, you paraded how many people in there. You had such a big support group. You had so many people. And I had who? I had the woman and man who were trying to take my other child away from me. And then I had my ex-husband ex-husband, because I left him years ago. We've been separated for 6 years. Our divorce just got finalized. It's actually going on 7 years. This November will be 7 years since I left my husband. Because he was an abusive asshole. You were right about that one. Okay, but I haven't been with an abusive asshole since then. My recent ex was not an abusive asshole. If anything, he was an angel. He taught me how to love again. Yeah, my hair's going wonky. because I washed it this morning and I just didn't care, and I laid down and I took a nap, and then I just got back up. So I've slept on this now twice. And it don't look like I'm furious. But if you know me, you know there's levels. Yeah, see, when I try to talk to my recent ex because he says he wants to be friends with me, and his response was just call CPS. Let them do their job. I don't trust CPS. I don't trust any children protective services because I don't feel they actually are doing their jobs to try to protect children. Too many times I've seen them go after the good parents. Too many times I've seen them let the bad parents off. Too many times I have watched these courts, these juvenile courts and CPS completely screw people's lives up for nothing. I don't trust CPS, but I'm going to have to involve CPS. I've told his fathers, I'm calling CPS. You're being neglectful. Your ex is abusive. Verbally, mentally, spiritually, and physically abusive. And you know me, there's too many fucking calls, man. There's just too many calls. There's too many calls on her oldest daughter. There's too many calls on now her youngest daughter. And now you're going to involve my son too. I think time and time again has been proven that your ex-wife and now you, especially when you said she has a right to smack our son, that was your words. He was lucky you didn't smack him too. He's 14. Why don't I come smack you? Both of you. Let me come smack both of you. I wear rings. And I'll do it backhanded. Just like you guys are fucking being to him backhanded. He is your child. He means more than her or any other piece of ass or any darts game or anything else. That child means more than any of it. Every other weekend I picked him up unless I couldn't. And then I would make it up. You have tried to keep him from me. Repeatedly. Because if I tell you I need you to pick him up on Sunday because I don't have the gas money to do both trips, you will just tell me I can't have him. You violate a court order all the fucking time. Because it makes you feel what? Better? Makes you feel empowered? Makes you feel strong? It makes you look weak. It makes you look like an abusive, manipulative, narcissistic asshole. And our son is growing up to hate you. I hope you know, even if you do keep him for the next 3 years and 2 months, as soon as he turns 18, he's running away from you. It's his plan. If he can do it before then, he is planning on it. Sorry, Bubby, I'm letting your secrets out. He doesn't like you anymore. He doesn't feel that he can trust you. He doesn't feel that you love him. He doesn't feel wanted, accepted, loved. It's part of his depression. It's part of his anger. Because our son is extremely intelligent. He's not dumb, and you can't be a pushover on him. You can't act one way, say something else, and then think. See, I've had to prove to him over and over and over again, Mommy will be there. Mommy will always be. I'm only a phone call away, because he didn't think I was a phone call away because you wouldn't let him call me. I reached out on Christmas one year and said, can I just talk to him? You had 3 different excuses every time I text. You're lucky I don't have that phone anymore. Oh, I might actually. I might have that phone. My ex-husband did deliver a phone. Maybe if I go through those text messages, I'll find them. Because I don't delete anything. I don't hide anything. Now, how about this one? How about we tell your ex-wife how you continually tried to cheat on her your entire marriage? And before your marriage? During. Now, luckily, you haven't tried anything since because I'm never alone when I come down here. I always have somebody because I don't trust you. Oh, but you have tried when we were in your fucking father's house and you were trying to say shit to me. And my current, at that time, fiance was out in the truck with our son. And you were trying to talk to me. And I said, stop. And I walked out the door. So, hey, to my most recent ex, I was always faithful to you. I told him no. But he did try. There's a reason I never wanted to, even once I get my license back, never wanted to drive down there on my own. I always said I need somebody to go with me, and I need it to be an adult, because he doesn't give a fuck about a kid. Kid can be right fucking there, and he's still gonna try. Miss Doberman, I hope you know, if he did it with me, who else did he do it with? How many other women did he cheat on you with? And let him lie and say you guys were split up. You weren't. You were at that house right there in Aberdeen. And he came over to the farm. The one across from Murderview. Offering me help. But he wanted something in return. That's why I didn't stay. I don't need that kind of help. What I need, though, is for my son's father to get his head out of his ass. Start being a father again. Because you were for a long time. You were a daddy for a long time. And then now you and her separated. And now you're free, white, and single to mingle. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're reverting back to how you were when me and you were together. When we were, well, whatever you want to consider us. Yep, it's flashing. I'm gonna get a new battery. These are the type of people who I've been dealing with my entire life. And I'm not the only person. I know I'm not the only person who deals with these type of people. See, I didn't think there was another way. I didn't know there was another way to deal with people because I wasn't taught there was another way to deal with people, but I have been now. I just got a message that said, fuck Joe Biden. That's not my personal opinions, that's my friend's personal opinions. And I don't know why he's saying fuck Joe Biden, I haven't found out yet. Yeah, it's a male friend, but you know what? I've never even actually met this person in person. He's only like a half an hour away from here, but even being a half an hour away from here, we still haven't actually met in person. But we talk almost every day via Messenger. He's funny. I want to meet him and his wife. I can't wait to meet him and his wife. I keep threatening. I said, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to take the city bus to you. One day we will meet. One day. I'll meet him and his wife. See, his wife is a licensed psychiatrist or psychologist or therapist or something. She's in mental health. And he says, my wife is going to love you. My therapist loves me. My therapist told me straight out, you're not crazy. She told me, oh yeah, let me go in the light. Let me go in the light. I'm gonna go in the light for this one. You go right here. Right here in the middle of the grass. Let me do this. My therapist told me, Jessica, you're not crazy. You have lived a very traumatic life. You have been taught wrong. You are surrounded by narcissistic, sociopathic, abusive people. Jessica, you're not crazy. Imagine that. But Kim, I feel crazy. I feel like I'm on 30 different roller coasters all the time. And as Atari said, I swear some days I feel like I'm ADHD. She said, I think you are. So I've spent the last 20-some years with the incorrect diagnosis. Surrounded by abusive, manipulative, narcissistic, sociopathic. My one brother, I swear, is going to end up either killing somebody who's going to end up getting killed himself because he's going to run his mouth to the wrong fucking person. I mean, I've been honest about all this. Always. Hey, Mason, you remember your mom coming in the hospital that day that Christopher was born and saying, Jessica, I'm sorry. I really always thought you were overreacting. There was no way your mother could be that way. I do. All because we named him what we named him, and we didn't name him after my uncle. But my other brother did. He has a kid younger than mine, youngest, and he did name him after my uncle. My uncle does have a namesake. Obviously, my mother didn't understand what the deal was. I had already had 2 sons. I already named them. He was already having 2 daughters by other people. They were picking the names. He wanted to pick our son's name. He has a right to pick his firstborn son's name. Mason picked his name. I just agree with it. I don't agree when people shorten our son's name, but I do agree with the name. Yeah. Miss Doberman, lay a hand on my son again. I don't care what you do to your kids. Lay a hand on my son again. I will bring hell's fire. Mason, start being a daddy. And I do mean, you better start being a fucking daddy. By the way, this video, as soon as it uploads, I am putting it on Facebook. I'll let the whole world know. Because I'm furious. I'm downright furious. I am calling CPS. I am involving the police, the courts. And whether I get my son back or not, or he goes to somebody else, there's enough family to take him on. There's enough family. Even if the courts don't want to give him back to me because I don't have money. I don't have my own place. I live with somebody else. Well, I mean, but there's mothers that do that shit all the time, ain't there? Ain't there mothers that don't work, but still provide? Aren't there mothers that don't have their own place and live with other people, and they still provide? Aren't there mothers who don't have everything fucking perfect? But see, right now, neither does my son's father. Definitely not his stepmother. But see, I did the parenting classes. I did the anger management classes. I'm in therapy. I have a psychiatrist. I take my meds when I need to. When I feel myself, because it's riddling, man. You don't want to take that shit as an adult every day, especially, when everybody wants to throw up in your face. Well, Jessica, you used to use... Oh, yeah, but now we're finding out that, you know what? I should have been prescribed pain medications. I didn't use them to get high. I used them to work. I used them to be able to clean the house, chase after my kids. Well, my kids aren't young anymore, and I don't have to chase after them anymore. Doctors say I can't work. I don't need them. One day I will. Hopefully by then I'll actually be allowed to have them. Because one day I will need them. One day I'm going to be back in that wheelchair. One day. In the future. I'm going to go downhill. Right now, I spend every ounce of my energy to keep going forward. Yeah, not curved. But I mean, that curve tells you that to go forward, you have to curve. Sometimes the straight path isn't straight. There's curves in the road. There's hills, bumps, holes. And they moved our trash can all the way down here. They got it all sideways and bunkers. See? She is pretty. Ain't she pretty? That red stallion. Ah, but a she and a stallion don't go in the same sentence. So, ain't that Mustang pretty? Even though it's a Chevy. I don't mean like a Ford Mustang. I mean like a wild horse. Oh, think about that one. How many other creatures on this planet still provide for their young with no money? Because humans are the only creatures that require cash to live life. Understand? We are greedy by nature because nature takes from nature and it nurtures and it doesn't require money. Humans require money. Birds, dogs, all if you put them all out in nature, how did they go make money? The bird make money? I mean, it makes money for humans sometimes. Big Bird made money for Sesame Street. Not a real bird. Guy in a costume. Animatronics. I love Big Bird though, he's sweet. And he loves Snuffy. You know, his best friend Snuffleupagus. Love Snuffy. Yeah, I grew up on Sesame Street, man. I had my kids watching Barney. I love you. You love me. We're a great big family. We're a happy family. But I could never get past that part because my family wasn't happy. So, I love you, you love me. We're a messed up family. But with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you, won't you say you love me too? I was honest. I changed it because we weren't a happy family. We were a messed up one. And I was letting my kids know from the get-go, we're a messed up family. I was honest. And look where one made it. My other one's trying. My baby's going in ROTC because he wants to do something in the military. Oh, and his muscles last night, I got a picture of his arms. He's got muscles. His belly's flat. He's been working his ass off. He wants better for his life. He doesn't want to stay stuck in a little town on the Ohio River. He wants to go and explore. He wants to get out. He wants to run away from y'all. From the negative. From the meanness. He wants to go make the world a better place. Like his mommy's trying. Yeah. I've looked at my videos, man. I'm telling you, I go and watch these numbers. What I think is fucking hilarious. I absolutely think it's hilarious. I keep trying to show you that I can be different, but the only thing y'all want to see is my anger. Maybe you should keep watching. Do you see the difference between me being mad and angry and me being furious? I'm still mad. I'm still angry. I'm awfully fucking calm about it now, ain't I? Now, last night I yelled and screamed. Last night I went the fuck off. Last night because it was initial. It was an initial. But in an initials, oh man, when you first get angry, when you first get mad, it's harder to control. Ah, but I've slept on it. Twice. I'm still mad. I'm still angry. And no, nobody is allowed to come to this house besides my children. I will never turn my children away. But anybody else ever fucking tries to come here and find me, I will hurt you. Unless you have permission. Not from me, from him. But he would never turn my kids away. He loves kids. My other half from earlier. Now, I might not be able to get custody of my son back. Might not be the right time. It might not be the right place. It might not be. But I can tell you, I will not sit here 600 miles away, especially from my baby, and allow people to abuse him. I've held enough abuse for everybody in this fucking world. Others have had enough abuse for everybody in this fucking world. The abuse needs to stop. I ain't playing no more. I ain't playing with abusive people anymore. I ain't tolerating it. I ain't taking it. I ain't gonna sit here and just sit down and shut up and listen. I've listened. I've watched. I hear everything. How many times I gotta prove it on these videos? The mama across the street, the man that was behind me, the couple that walked in front of me. I don't even have to hear your voice to hear you. I can see these people walking down the street and I almost can tell you their entire fucking life stories. I watched the lady over here at the little circle thingy in the corner up the road. She was in a wheelchair and she was with two friends or family or whatever. I don't know if they were friends or family, but they're family. Because they were taking care of her. They knew her history. They knew her medical. They knew it. And she was in a wheelchair. She can't really move around on her own. She's too weak. She just got out of the hospital 2 days beforehand or 3 days beforehand. And that was when I started seeing them up here at the corner. When I was up there to go and pick up these and cigarette butts and other trash that was just around at this little... I've shown you guys this little corner. There's all the flowers and the flags and the... That's where they were at. And I was there picking up and cleaning up. Barney on a scooter. Yeah, I know they're not going to say it's not Barney, but that's Barney. That's Barney on a scooter. I had one that said Circle K at the bottom of it. And I love the Circle K because I see, and then circle K. Come on. Okay, Circle K. What's my last name? Who am I? I am Mama Cook. I was Mama Jess. The see, here's the problem with being Jessie. They are not me fully. I am Mama Jessica Ann Cook. You're gonna talk to me? You refer to me as all of me from this point forward. Because I am not playing around with you people no more. Very select people who get call me out of that name. And outside of that, from this point forward, I am Mama Cook. My last name is Cook. C-O-O-K. C-O-O, it'll be okay. Oh, it'll be okay. Mama Cook. Because I'm a mama. And I am so tired of people attacking me and acting like they did nothing wrong. I'm tired of people pushing me past my boundaries and then wanting to say, well, Jessica, you're crazy. No, Jessica's not crazy. Jessica just has a very low tolerance for dealing with stupid bullshit that she's been dealing with for a very long fucking time. I have the scars. As my ex, when I keep fucking throwing shit up in my face, I still have a scar on my arm. Where's it at? Oh, it's right there above that fucking bracelet. See it? That's from the 4th of July. As you want to come at me about what I did, you still haven't owned up to what your son did, what your other son did, or what you've done. You walked out of the room. You left me there to deal with all of it. The house and the kids and the dogs and the bills and everything. You left every fucking day and went to work. You left me to deal with everything because all you had to do was just go to work. Jessica deal with it. Jess will deal with it. Y'all see, Jess would deal with it. Jessie don't tolerate it. And Jessica is a mix of both of them. I'll deal with so much for so fucking long until I can't no more. And right now, I am very much at a point where I can't deal with you guys being abusive assholes. I cannot deal with you guys not owning up to your shit. And I am so fucking tired of you guys reflecting it back onto me like I'm at fault. You blame me when I'm not even around. You blame me for everything. Fuck God. You blame God for everything too, whether it's good or bad. You don't ever think about your own fucking actions. Remember, God gave us a choice. Love everyone. And I'm trying, man. I'm trying to. Can I tell you guys all the time I love everyone? I don't love your fucking behaviors. I don't love your fucking actions. I do love you. Just because I love you does not mean that I have to sit here and take your shit. It also doesn't mean that my son, our Christopher, our little Christ, has to tolerate it either. Mr. I go to church every Sunday. Mr. I'm better than you. Mr. You told me today you don't have no power, but neither do I. Right here's my power. The truth will set you free. You don't want to be a daddy anymore? You want to go party? Give me back my son. The song that just played on the radio went by. Something with the devil. Well, let's put it this way. You want to dance with the devil? Or you want to dance with an angel? I'm a little bit of both. All rolled into one fucking package. And how I behave towards you, well, that's going to depict completely upon you. I might be about 600 miles away. I can be there in 12 hours. If I need to get a ride, I can get a ride. I know for a fact I can. friend that's a half an hour away from here with a bunch of fucking cars. Sure, if I really asked. And regardless if my son ends up back with me or somewhere else, his grandfather, my parents, one of my brothers, my stepmom. And my stepmom's got time, money, and a place, and a room. I guarantee if I called her and said, Christopher needs a place to go, he needs a good, solid person, I guarantee I could put him in. I guarantee she would do it because she loves kids and she's alone and she could use it. She could use the help that he would give with bringing groceries and cleaning. She loves to talk, and so does he, and they'd have some great conversations. She could share stories about my dad with him. Any of my other family want to jump up in here and offer some help? My son needs it. Regardless if I can do it or not. I have family, don't I? I have friends, don't I? And I sure as hell have a higher power. I do have power. I have the best power of all. Communication skills. I was taught by the best. Now see, I left the area where everybody knows me and had to come somewhere else to find acceptance. And I've spent days and weeks now telling everybody I know that I love that's going through a lot of the same shit. I spent last night telling JB, get out of there. Get out of Chautauqua. Get out of Ohio. He said, I can't go. I don't have any money. Well, honey, neither did I. I had support, though. I had friends. I know you have some good friends. Call upon them. Make a deal with Laney to get you out of that house and into a different one. Doesn't he have other properties? Trade. JB, you can do this. I love you. Always. And when you're mad at me, and when I'm mad at you, this is how we are. I love you. Good, bad, and everything in between. We are best friends. And sweetheart, if I could help you. No, you are a sweetheart, but you're not my sweetheart. My sweetheart's in her sleep. He's got to work tonight. But, JB, for real. Get out of there, baby. Get the fuck out of there. It's killing you. It's trying to. You are stronger than all of it. You are stronger than those neighbors and their negativity. You are stronger than those drugs. You are strong. I know you are. You've got the willpower of, oh God, of a God. You were led astray. You were taught wrong. I know who your parents are. I know who your mother is. I know who your father is. Yeah, when he said to me, can't you just leave me alone? As I was begging him to go check on his son. From 500 miles away. Because I could feel it in my heart. Go check on your son. Stop putting all the blame on the youth. That 17-year-old kid who just got arrested at school because he was making threats, can we find out why he's so angry? Because before my son becomes that 17-year-old kid who's making threats to people at school, I'm going to do something to stop it. This is one of my longest videos yet, so I refuse to let my son become that kid from the Uvalde shooting. I refuse to let my son become that kid that just last week got arrested because he went to school and made threats. And instead of them trying to figure out why he was making threats and what was going wrong with him, they put him in jail. They arrested him and take him to a hospital. Because if you're making threats, well, then there's something fucking wrong. People don't go walking around just to make threats all the fucking time. When they do, it's because the world has been mean to them. Most people are not born just inherently mean and evil. They are taught, they are trained, they are abused. Let's start finding out what's actually happening with our youth instead of blaming them because us as adults can't do our jobs. So yeah, that day that I got pushed, I did. But see, it doesn't actually fall on the children. It falls on the father. Because the father sat right there next to me. The father couldn't take anymore, and instead of opening his mouth and standing up for himself and me and our home and our family, he got up and he went to the bathroom, and then he left the bathroom and he went to our bedroom. And then when shit got so fucking far gone, because I was pushed past my absolute, I was pushed so far past my boundaries at this point, I wasn't in control anymore. I snapped and I reacted and I did something I am highly ashamed of. And I apologize to the entire household there. G1, G2, my love, I am sorry. I should have never reacted that way. But I also never should have been pushed to that point. And neither should my son. Nobody should. There is not a single human being on this planet that deserves that. None of it. No. But G2, honey, you were still wrong. You knew exactly what you were doing that day. You intentionally did it. As soon as you found out that your dad and I had planned that we wanted to take you guys somewhere that day, that I was trying to get us to the fireworks that night. Yeah, I didn't want to celebrate the 4th of July, but I still wanted to see the pretty boom booms. I never did. I never got to. See, your sister reacted to a statement that I said to your mother, to your birth giver, to your mom. I mean, she reacted through words. She blocked me for a couple of days, and then she unblocked me. Hi, sissy. I love you. I miss you. You are talented, beautiful, intelligent. Got such a heart. And a mind and a soul. And I'm sorry. So sorry. The life you've been living is the life you've had to live. It isn't fair. You don't deserve it. You deserve so much better.
And see, these are the things that make me so angry on a daily basis, is that I know that there's kids out there that are going through and living the same life that I grew up living, maybe plus or minus the detail. There's some who have been sexually assaulted and sexually abused worse than me. There's some that never happened. There's some that got beat worse than me, and there's some that never had a hand laid on them. But that mental abuse to that head, man, can fuck you up just as bad. So, sissy, you are intelligent, talented, beautiful. I think you are absolutely beautiful. Your size is fine. We're all made in different sizes. We're not supposed to be the same. And I think you're beautiful. G1, you have so much brightness in you, so much love, positivity, intelligence. I hope you rock out this school year, man. I hope you pull those A's and B's that I know you can pull, because you have enough confidence in yourself. I'm scared that you don't. I'm scared that since I've been gone, your chin is back in your chest. And you don't respond to me when I text you to tell you I love you, and that I think you're a rock star. So I don't know. I have no idea. G2, if you can get past your anger, you could go on to be a millionaire, billionaire. You could own your own companies. You could probably run the world, dude. But you have to get past your anger. You have to. It wasn't fair. It wasn't right what they did to you. But what you're doing to other people isn't fair, and it isn't right either. I ain't blaming you. I blame your mother, and I blame your stepfather, and at this fucking point, I even blame your father's fucking family. They could have opened their mouths and said something way before. They could have let me open my mouth and say something. They kept telling me, Jessica, no, you're just going to make it worse. Well, my silence made it worse. Your silence made it worse. Their silence in general just makes it worse. It does. Being quiet, keeping our mouth shut, it doesn't help anything. Not one bit. Doesn't help nothing. See that wild ass hair? Look at that wild ass hair. Does what it wants. It's my hair, but it does what it wants. I love you guys. I do not love your actions. And I don't love the actions that you guys sometimes push me to do, knowing my boundaries. Because when you know somebody's boundaries and you violate them, well, then that's not on that person that you violated their boundaries on anymore. It's not. You knew my boundaries. You pushed over and over and over and over. You got the reaction. You got the reaction you wanted. Your father let you do it because your father wanted me out of the house. He didn't want to be with me anymore, and he knew that the only way that he could ever actually leave me was to push me to the point of leaving. So he could do it guilt-free. Hey, love, you're not guilt-free. You're actually guilty. You don't get to walk away with this and keep pushing this back in my face. No. You walked out of the room. You knew what was happening, and you left. You stopped talking. You stopped communicating with me. You gave up faith. And it didn't matter how many times I proved to you over and over and over and over and over again I was helping you build the life. We were building the life that we kept talking about. I kept showing you the evidence. I kept showing you the proof. You knew I was faithful. So you knew I wouldn't go cheat, so you couldn't get rid of me that way. You knew what the rules were. No drugs. No cheating. Don't lie to me. No violence. That was our rules. But you knew that I was prone for violence if I'm pushed. Only when I'm pushed. Only when I am pushed am I prone to violence. The rest of the time, I have the patience of a saint. Anybody else feel that way? Would you want to use my violence and my anger and my temper against me? I bet you loved it when it was for you. But when it's against you, damn, you see how that works? So Mason wants to ignore me all the fucking time. I message him all the time. And I can actually go and share my fucking message feed. I can screenshot it. And I can because remember, I don't delete anything. I've said it even on my Facebook. No, I will not delete this comment. Now, I did delete one video because I made it specifically for one person. And once he watched it, I did go delete it because it's the only way I can seem to get through to him on these videos. I did delete that one because it was for him. It wasn't for everybody. Only a handful of other people saw it. That's only a handful of other people saw it. Yeah, and I like to talk. No, I will never shut up for you again. For anybody again. Only if the universe tells me to. Because sometimes the universe tells me to be quiet. Listen. And when somebody tells me I'm not listening, you know what I do? I listen. That homeless man up here on this porch that night that I was trying to talk to him, and he was saying the exact same thing as me. The exact same thing. But he said, but you're not listening. So I sat here in this chair, shut up and listened. And when you make a point that was right on part, yes. 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 That's what I was trying to say to you. To the Pentecostal man that I met the other day when he said, well, what's your beliefs? And I said, well, I'm an agnostic. I believe in everything. Magic and God and spirits. Crystals. I believe that each one of these rings is a totem. And it's going to bring me what I want. My little spirit ring. G1. My broken wing. And I don't have all of my stuff on today right now because I just got up. my Firestone that just, puts that fire in my voice. And since I got it, my voice has gotten stronger. My little pendant that my brother gave me, if you can see it, he gave it to me, and it is a heart. It is 1, 2, 3, 5. If you count the rings, the red and the silver, the purple, I think it is. Purple, then the silver one again. And that outside one there, too. 2, 3, 4. Ah, but that right there, even though it's a circle around it, there's still a heart. And I always said it only made my heart grow 3 sizes. Now it's made my heart grow 5. All the way out to the world that surrounds it. And as my son likes to tell me, but Mom, you do pray. You're right, I do pray. I pray every day, all day, repeatedly, over and over and over again. I pray that this world can be better. I pray that the anger can go away. I pray that there's no need for anger. And honestly, I know that the military has a job, but I pray that one day we don't need them, but they are there only as protection for us, not to go out and fight everybody else. I pray that one day we don't feel that we need to go fight everybody else, because we've done battled our demons and we've done battled our shit, and the world is a better place. Yeah, I understand we can't get them all. You can't catch them all, as Pokemon says. You gotta catch them all, gotta catch them all, as Pokemon says. We got to catch them all. We don't have an option. We have to save everybody. Everybody's worth saving. Even Putin, Joe Biden, Trump. Yeah, but, see, for some people, though, saving is just too far out there. And the only way to save them is if they want to save themselves. Yeah, and everybody's got an opinion about Trump. Some people love him and other people hate him. I never liked him. I haven't liked him since I watched him in an interview for the Miss Universe or Miss America pageant, whatever one it was he used to run. And he said to the girl that she wasn't skinny enough, she wasn't pretty enough, but she won. But he wasn't happy because his pick didn't win, so he degraded her. Trump, get your chauvinistic head out of your ass. Yeah, you did some good things while you were president, but you did them for the wrong motherfucking reasons. You did them just to make your name bigger. You've had how many bankruptcies? How many companies that went under your name? How'd you get your money? You lied and you cheated. How many wives have you had? And none of them, have any of them been from here? No, you have to go to where to find your wives? I know your one just passed away, Ivanka. I apologize, Ivanka. If you want to come sit and have a conversation with me, there's chairs open, Ivanka. My son just said I need to call him. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you. I am sorry. I do love everybody. I love you. Let's go do better.